It's been nearly 2 weeks after the killings of a senior Hezbollah commander in Beirut and a Hamas leader in Tehran, and Israeli officials continue to anticipate a retaliatory strike from Iran. This comes as negotiators expect leaders from Israel and Hamas to return to the negotiating table later this week, somewhere either probably in Cairo, Egypt, or Doha, Qatar. But for now, the nation of Israel remains on high alert. Well, joining me now from Jerusalem to discuss this is CBN News Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell. Chris, welcome back to the program. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's great to be with you, Jody.
Well, we appreciate it. Listen, we've got a lot of prayer going up for you in Israel right now. Give us the overall picture. Perhaps let's begin. What's the mood in Jerusalem as you remain on high alert?
Well, I think the mood here, Jody, is tense. From the conversations I've had with many Israelis here, they're anticipating something. They don't know exactly what kind of response Iran's going to have. Could it be symbolic? Could it be much bigger than it was in April 13th and 14th when they fired 350 combination of ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, UAVs, and drones? So there is an anticipation. I think that's probably the best explanation of what Israelis are feeling right now. Right now, Jody, they're actually commemorating Tisha B'Av, which is Hebrew for the 9th of Av. Av is one of the Jewish months, and they commemorate the destruction of the first and second Jewish temples, expulsion of the Jews from Spain in 1492. So today, it's very solemn. It's the saddest day of the Jewish calendar. And there had been an anticipation that Iran and Hezbollah would use this particular day as a way to attack the state of Israel and the Jewish people.
Yeah, I can only imagine the tenseness that people feel right now. And with this special occasion would be, it has to just be extremely concerning to everyone. Chris, it seems like many people expected a strike to come sooner. Is there anything that we perhaps should make of the delay? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, there was a delay back in April. That's 2 weeks before the attack by Iran. There was that strike against an IRGC general in the Iranian consulate in Damascus. So the 2-week wait is not unexpected. However, there has been reports almost on a daily basis that Iran's pulling back. Hezbollah may go in front of Iran, or now the latest, Jody, in the last day or so has been Iran is going to strike, and it's going to be a big strike. Some people are anticipating within hours, maybe within days. There has been talk about the fact that perhaps Iran's new president was advising Iran to not provoke anything that could lead to a war. But the IRGC was maybe more aggressive and more assertive. So there could be an internal discussion within Iran and or Hezbollah about exactly how they want to proceed. Because one of the things that is different than April, Jody, is the fact that Israel is sending signals that it's not going to be restrained in its response. And it could be quite robust against either Iran, maybe its oil facilities, maybe even its nuclear facilities, and certainly against Hezbollah as well.
Yeah, that's been my thoughts with the delay. There's no question. It's been shown time after time that Israel will strike back, and they will strike hard. And as you mentioned, the oil reserves and the nuclear facilities, I think Iran has to be considering that those two are prime targets if they retaliate in Israel. So my thoughts were perhaps that's part of the reason for the delay. Maybe they're having second thoughts about that. But I guess we'll all come to see in the next few hours or days. Let me ask you this, Chris, because it seems the timing right now, the negotiating team is expected to take part, at least there's discussion of a negotiating team taking part in a meeting later this week that could potentially have some sort of framework for an agreement. What are you hearing about all that?
Well, there is a discussion. I think it's this coming Thursday, August 15th, that there would be those negotiations. Now, there is talk that Hamas is going to refuse to come to those negotiations, and that could forestall those entirely. I mean, the negotiations would include Egypt, the U.S., Qatar, but the question remains, and I think the latest that I've been hearing anyway, Jody, is that Hamas may not be going to the negotiations, which would forestall that. There had been talk that Iran, Hezbollah would wait till after those negotiations. We'll see. There is a sense that that maybe Iran is looking for an off-ramp. Two points is one is China depends on Iranian oil. That's one thing. Maybe China doesn't want them to get involved. The other thing is they supply a lot of UAVs to Russia. That could be another reason. There was a visit by the Secretary of the Security Council of Russia last week, and that there's a sense that that maybe they were trying to restrain him. And earlier today, the UK, France, and Germany sent a letter to Iran trying to de-escalate the situation. So all these factors, and there's certainly a lot of rumors and a war going on right now, Jody, and that's exactly what Jesus said would happen about 2,000 years ago. So we see lots of reports, sometimes changing from hour to hour or day to day.
Yeah, it really is phenomenal what is unfolding before our eyes, and the biblical references you mentioned there. I mean, they just seem to be glowing right in the face of the entire world right now. And the off ramp, I think there's a lot of people looking at and thinking about whether or not Iran actually is looking for an off ramp right now. Frankly, that seems like it would make sense. But then you have the fact that Hamas is not going to show up at the negotiating table, would send on the other side, perhaps to indicate that they don't plan to be there because they plan to take some sort of action or know that action is coming. So who knows what's going to happen? You mentioned a little while ago about the Jewish fast, Tisha B'Av, which is underway right now, one of the saddest days, if not the saddest day on the Jewish calendar. How has that taken, that whole fast, that holiday, how has that taken on a new tenor, a new meaning since October 7th?
I think it really increases the intensity of it, the commemoration for many of the Jewish people, remembering what happened on October 7th. This is the first commemoration of Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av, since October 7th. So I think a deeper sense of soberness, solemnness. What's happened since October 7th, Jody, has affected Israelis so deeply, and almost everyone knows somebody that may have been murdered or massacred in October 7th, or knows somebody that may have fallen in battle in Gaza or is in uniform. So almost every family has been affected. So it makes it that much more serious. And I would add, Jody, we did a story last Friday. We heard more about it yesterday. There's really a growing crescendo of prayer by the body of Christ all over the world to pray for the peace of Jerusalem, to pray for the Jewish people. The people that I know that we talk to say it's unprecedented, it's global, and it's really focused on Isaiah 62. I put watchmen and watchwomen on your walls of Jerusalem to give me no rest till I make Jerusalem a praise in all the earth. So that's probably one of the encouraging things right now of how many people around the world are praying for the state of Israel and the Jewish people.
Well, I know we here at FRC and Washington Watch in particular, we try to keep that on the forefront over and over and over, but all the various avenues of FRC and FRC Action, the stand, everywhere we go, we are trying to keep each of you and Israel in prayer. So thank you. We're thrilled that you are sensing and very much aware of those prayers. Thank you, Chris Mitchell, Middle East Bureau Chief at CBN News. Stay safe, my friend, and know that we are praying for you and all of Israel.
Thanks so much, Jody.